What is up, guys? Thick Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we're going to be going over the brand new Imperative Legendary Vex Offensive Scout Rifle, and a perk that's absolutely broken. So, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at this weapon. It drops again from the Vex Offensive Activity, or Vex Invasions if you got bounties and so on. It is a 150 rounds per minute archetype scout rifle, which means it is going to hit like a truck. It does the most damage, but shoots the slowest for the scout rifle archetype, and it's a kinetic weapon as well. Now, the very interesting thing about this gun, and the reason I was excited to get this particular roll, is because my roll came with snapshot sights, a faster aim down sights time, just going to make this thing snappier, and also, importantly, no distractions. Aiming down sights after a short time reduces incoming flinch. Now, No Distractions is a very unique, very new perk. It was only introduced last season with Season of Opulence for some sniper rifles, and that's it. This is actually the first time ever that this can be got on a scout rifle. No other scout rifle in the entire game can get no distractions, so it is entirely new for this category of guns. And I thought, and many people think, that this is a super good perk. I mean, because it reduces the incoming flinch, and you have a high damage, slow shooting scout rifle that can do a pretty darn good time to kill, but if you miss once, your time to kill goes in the garbage. You need to be hitting your shots, and flinch is going to impact you so much. Well, is it any good? So in PvE, just thought I would mention, it is totally okay at best. Like, this actual type of scout rifle is kind of better than I would expect in PvE, but generally you're going to want your primaries to be able to function in those closer ranges. I can think of so many scenarios, so many like end game activities where having a scout rifle, a long distance weapon like that, is going to be a little bit detrimental to your performance. So generally just going with a 150 hand cannon, and also this roll is definitely more indicative of PvP than it is of PvE. In PvE, you're going to want things like multi-kill clip and explosive rounds and damage dealing perks and so on. So we definitely are going to pay more attention to this thing's performance in the Crucible. And I played 3 different Crucible matches, 2 more than most people play before putting up a video. Yeet! And then I actually did pretty well. I'm pretty new to the PC. Like, I have been playing years and years of console, and I came first place on my team every single time. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I really didn't expect that. Like, this is a weapon, I basically do not touch scout rifles, and so to be doing pretty well with it, I think is generally a good sign. The 150 rounds per minute means that you can kill as fast as 3 headshots from, again, insert 150 hand cannons, so the spare rations, all that stuff, this has the same time to kill. The benefit to using it is that it functions at ranges that those hand cannons can't even dream of, so you can tap people off from pretty far away. However, there is some considerable downsides as well. If you're in a close range scenario, you are going to lose that pretty much every time because it comes with extremely high zoom in terms of its sight. You can't change its optic. So in those even medium range scenarios, you're zoomed in way too much than you want to be, and you're at quite a disadvantage. And it doesn't help that a lot of the maps in the game, a lot of them are more indicative of those medium range fights than they are of long range fights. There are a certain few maps, I can think of the new Widow's Court map that just got introduced, where having a scout rifle means that you can beam people from across the map, and it's great. But a lot of other maps don't really allow for those sightlines, and if they do, you really gotta, go out of your way to try to get to those sightlines that are good for scout rifles. Additionally, the way people play doesn't really help either, especially on PC where everyone plays like they're trying out for an org. But seriously, in those long-range engagements, if someone finds themselves being beamed, they just run away. Like, they break line of sight, they dodge, they do whatever, and so it can be difficult to secure those kills from long ranges away unless that person is completely out of cover. Whereas if you're medium range, you have a hand cannon, they have a hand cannon, you're generally going to get into a fight. They'll stay and fight a lot of the time, and then whoever has the best gun skill, whoever has the best shots, can win that engagement. But so many times when using the scout rifle, I found that like 1 or 2 shots before I could land my third, they were just running, like darting for the nearest cover as soon as possible, just because they got hit, they recognize, this is a long range engagement, I can't participate in this, and they just got out of the way. So like that, combined with not too many super open long sightline maps, yeah, scout rifle is honestly, I did well with it, but I always felt like I was at a bit of a disadvantage. I always felt like a pulse rifle, if I was using a good pulse rifle, I'd be doing better. So that's my thoughts on the weapon in the Crucible. But how did the No Distractions perk, this brand new perk for scout rifles, help? Did it make a difference in engagements? Well, it was very hard to tell. Like this entire time, there was certainly some times where I was getting shot and I still secured the kill, and I was like, maybe No Distractions help there. But like it's so hard to tell in like a live fire scenario. It's so hard to tell when you're actually in the Crucible. So I took it into a private match with my boy Amtashed, and we shot each other. I wanted to actually see how much of a difference does No Distractions make on this scout rifle. And luckily, I have 2 of the exact same weapon, one with No Distractions, one without. So I set up with no distractions, and I was getting shot with a spare rations. That is an incredibly common weapon. You're going to see the spare rations all over the place in PvP, so this is a pretty realistic test. So I get hit, and you can see I flinch off the target, off of his head, and I recenter, get hit again, get flinched, pretty much to the exact same result. Like every time I'm getting hit here, I'm flinching almost exactly to the same spot every time, which is just off to the right and above his head. So what about multiple shots? Well, we set up 3 shots in a row incoming, and as you can see, flinch, flinch, flinch. And I want to explain what just happened to some of the newer viewers who don't know how Destiny's flinch works. It's incredibly weird. That middle flinch was not me resetting back to his head. How Destiny 2's flinch works is that if you're on target and you get hit, you've seen before, it'll flinch me off target. But if you're off target and then you get hit, like I'm not moving my reticle at all, it will flinch you back on target. So if your aim is actually, you're gonna miss someone and then they hit you, it'll throw your sight on target, on top of their head, and then you can shoot and get a perfect shot. Very weird, like super weird. I don't know why they do it like that, but that's what's going on. Now, we did also try a pulse rifle, but it flinched so little that it didn't even really throw me off the head. And because it was a 4-burst, it could have been throwing me off, on, like every single time. So we just scrapped that pretty quickly. In any event, it is time to switch to the version with the No Distractions perk. So I aim down sights, you can actually see a little text indicator that No Distractions is active in the corner of your screen. And I get hit, and wait a sec. That is basically the exact same spot I was getting hit before. I actually end up switching back to the version without No Distractions and getting shot again because I'm so confused, but this is slow motion getting shot with his spare rations without No Distractions, and now this is the same thing but with No Distractions. And as you can see, almost identical. Like, I really can't notice much of a difference there. And here is the side-by-side of kind of the max height, the max distance that I was flinched away with both No Distractions and no Distractions. And as you can see, like, almost identical. Basically no difference. And so, is this perk broken? Like, does this perk actually do anything? Well, perhaps we were using a weapon that just didn't have enough flinch. Maybe that's what's going on, and so there is a difference, but it's incredibly hard to see with this little amount of flinch. So, we decide to switch things out. Instead of the spare rations, he's now going to be using a Duke, which instead of hitting for like 68 damage with the spare rations, this hits for 90 damage. Not only that, this Duke has high caliber rounds, a perk specifically saying that it increases the amount of flinch it inflicts on an opponent. So this should make me fly off target, and then we can maybe see a little bit of a difference. So, put on the version without no distractions, get hit, and wait, what? Wait, that is the exact same amount of flinch as with the spare rations, with a Duke with high caliber rounds. What? That should not be happening. There should be at least double the flinch I'm getting, not the exact same amount. Well, I continue to get hit, and you can clearly see as I switch to the version with no distractions, that again makes almost no difference, that these flinch values, not only are they basically identical for no distractions versus no distractions, and therefore I don't think there's a reason to go for no distractions on this gun. Perhaps with a sniper rifle, it has a tiny effect, and then, you know, because that shot is so important with a sniper, it's still worth it. But for a scout rifle, no way. Like, there's just no reason I can see for trying to get a roll with this broken perk. But not only that, there's a whole other different can of worms we've opened up with this test, which is, what's the point of using high caliber rounds? What's the point of using a hard hitting, hard flinching, or what we thought was a hard flinching weapon if it flinches no differently than another weapon? Like, is high caliber rounds another broken perk? Does it really truly have an effect? Like, I don't really know. These were some crazy tests. I did not expect these results, but I think what we can infer from this video and the information I want to pass on to you is that perhaps don't put too much of an emphasis on flinch. Looking for perks or mods that reduce flinch or enhance flinch because they look like they don't have much, if at all, of an effect. In any event, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.